The house creaks like it wants to confess something, and tonight I'm finally listening. 3:17 a.m., and I'm sitting in my recliner pretending to watch some infomercial about miracle mops, while my wife Elise tiptoes through the front door like she's defusing a bomb. Her heels click against the hardwood. Click, pause, click, pause. Each step calculated to avoid the squeaky board by the stairs. I'm Jack Callahan, and I've been married to a stranger for 8 years. She thinks I'm asleep. Hell, most nights I wish I was. But insomnia has been my companion lately, along with a growing suspicion that my wife's late nights at the office have less to do with insurance claims and more to do with someone else's claims on her body. "Hey, honey," I call out, not turning around. "How was Bible study?" The clicking stops. In the blue glow of the TV, I can see her reflection in the window, frozen like a deer in headlights, one hand still on the doorknob. It was fine. We studied Psalms. Her voice has that practiced casualness that screams guilt. "You're up late." "Couldn't sleep. You know how it is." I finally turn to look at her. Elise stands there in her black dress, the one she claims makes her look professional, but really makes her look like she's hunting for something. Her lipstick's gone. Her hair's mussed just enough to suggest hands have been running through it, not mine. Funny thing about insomnia, gives you time to think. She forces a smile. About what? About how Bible study seems to involve a lot of wine lately. I can smell it from here. Elise's jaw tightens, almost imperceptibly. After 8 years, I know her tells. "We had communion wine. Is that a crime?" "Nope. Just interesting how communion keeps running until after midnight these days." She doesn't respond, just kicks off her heels and heads for the stairs. "I'm tired, Jack. Can we not do this tonight?" "Do what?" "I'm just making conversation with my wife. Remember me? Guy who lives here, pays the mortgage, fixes everything that breaks in this old Victorian money pit we call home." "Don't start." But I'm already started. You know what's really keeping me awake? It's not just the late nights. It's how you look at me now, like I'm some piece of furniture you're planning to replace. It's how you've stopped asking about my day, stopped laughing at my jokes, stopped pretending you give a damn about anything that doesn't involve your precious job. Elise pauses on the third step, her hand gripping the banister. Maybe if your jokes were actually funny. There it is. The real Elise, sharp as a scalpel and twice as cold. "There's my girl," I say, settling back into my chair. "For a second there, I thought you might actually pretend to care." She storms upstairs without another word. I hear the bedroom door slam, then the shower running. Washing off the evidence, no doubt. I sit there in the dark, the miracle mop guy promising to solve all my cleaning problems for 3 easy payments of $19.99. If only it were that simple. The next morning brings coffee that tastes like regret, and a wife who's suddenly very interested in her phone. Elise sits across from me at our kitchen table, the one I refinished last summer, when I still thought we had a future worth investing in, scrolling through messages with a little smile playing at her lips. "Good news?" I ask, buttering my toast with deliberate slowness. "Just work stuff." But her thumb moves quickly, hiding the screen. "Must be some work stuff. You're practically glowing." She looks up sharply. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just nice to see you happy about something." The phone buzzes. Her eyes dart to it, then back to me, calculating. I might be late again tonight. Big presentation tomorrow. On a Thursday? It's important. I nod, taking a bite of toast that might as well be cardboard. "I'm sure it is." "Who's helping with this presentation?" "The team." "You don't know them." "Try me. I might surprise you with my vast knowledge of insurance professionals." Her phone buzzes again. This time she can't help herself. She glances down, and that smile returns. Just for a second, but I catch it. Tyler's leading the project. He's really dedicated. Tyler. Finally, a name. I file it away with all the other little details I've been collecting. The new perfume, the gym membership she never uses but pays for monthly, the way she's started doing her makeup differently, more carefully. Tyler sounds like a real go-getter. He is. She stands abruptly, grabbing her purse and coffee mug. "I should go. Traffic's going to be murder." She kisses my cheek, a quick, obligatory peck that feels like a stranger's lips. Then she's gone, leaving behind the faint scent of guilt an expensive perfume. I finish my breakfast in silence, planning my day. I've got 3 jobs lined up: a kitchen cabinet repair, a deck staining, and a bathroom renovation that's been dragging on for weeks. Honest work with my hands, something Elise used to say she admired about me, back when she used to say things that weren't lies. My phone rings as I'm loading tools into my truck. It's Gaz McIntyre, my oldest friend and the closest thing this town has to an information broker. He tends bar at the Broken Antler, which means he hears everything worth hearing, and plenty that isn't. Jack, my friend, how's married life treating you? Like a rented mule. What's up, Gaz? Just wondering if you're free tonight. Thought we might grab a beer, catch up properly. There's something in his tone, careful, like he's walking on eggshells. Gaz has never been careful about anything in his life. Sure. The Antler? Actually, I was thinking somewhere else. How about Murphy's Tavern? Change of scenery. Murphy's is across town, the kind of place where office workers go to feel sophisticated while drinking the same beer they could get anywhere else for half the price. Since when do you drink at Murphy's? Since I heard they've got good appetizers. Trust me on this one, Jack. After we hang up, I sit in my truck for a long moment, engine running, wondering when my life became the kind of mystery that requires trust and careful conversations. The house stares back at me through the windshield, its Victorian gingerbread trim and painted shutters hiding whatever secrets live in its walls. Murphy's Tavern tries too hard to be classy, with its fake leather booths and Edison bulb lighting that makes everyone look like they're dying slowly. I spot Gaz immediately. He's the guy in work clothes surrounded by people in business casual, like a wolf in a sheep convention. You look like hell, he says as I slide into the booth across from him. Thanks. You always know just what to say. Gaz signals the waitress for another round. He's already nursing what looks like his second beer, which means whatever he has to tell me requires liquid courage. Jack, we've been friends since high school. Christ, you're not dying, are you? No, but... He takes a long pull from his beer. What I'm about to tell you, it's going to hurt, but you need to know. My stomach drops, even though part of me has been expecting this conversation for months. Just say it. I saw Elise last night. Here, actually. He gestures around the bar. She was with some guy. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit. They were close. Close how? Close like they've been close before. Close like they forgot they were in public. Gaz leans forward, lowering his voice. Jack, I heard them talking. They were making jokes about you. The beer in my hand suddenly weighs 1,000 pounds. What kind of jokes? The cruel kind. She was telling him about how you don't suspect anything, how you're so focused on your little carpentry projects that you wouldn't notice if she brought him home for dinner. Gaz's face is grim. The guy, Tyler, she called him. He said something about how clueless you must be in bed if she needs to find satisfaction elsewhere. The words hit like physical blows. It's one thing to suspect your wife is cheating. It's another to know she's making you the punchline of her affair. There's more, Gaz continues. They were planning something, talking about timing, about making sure you're handled properly when the time comes. I couldn't hear everything, but it sounded like they're planning to screw you over financially, too. I set down my beer before I crushed the bottle. How long have you known? I started suspecting a few weeks ago. Elise has been coming to different bars around town, always with the same guy. But last night was the first time I heard them actually talking about you. He reaches across the table, puts his hand on my arm. I'm sorry, man. I really am. Don't be sorry. Be helpful. What else did you see? Gaz grins, and for a moment he looks like the troublemaker I grew up with. I thought you might ask that. I followed them when they left. They went to the Riverside Motel on Route 9, room 127. They were there for about 2 hours. You got pictures? I got better than pictures. I got video of them going in together, and I got audio of their conversation from when they were standing by his car afterward. He pulls out his phone. Want to hear Tyler bragging about how he's going to help Elise take you for everything you're worth in the divorce? I listened to 3 minutes of my wife and her lover planning my destruction. Their voices clear in the night air. Tyler sounds like exactly what I expected. Smooth, arrogant, the kind of guy who thinks he's untouchable because he wears expensive suits and drives a BMW. Elise sounds like a stranger, cold and calculating as she discusses liquidating assets and hiding money. She's been planning this for months. I say when the recording ends. Looks like it. The question is, what are you going to do about it? I drain my beer and stand up. I'm going to remind them that underestimating the carpenter was their first mistake. Need help? Not yet, but keep that recording safe. I have a feeling I'm going to need it. The drive home takes me past the Riverside Motel. It's a rundown place that rents rooms by the hour and doesn't ask questions. Perfect for people who think they're being clever. I park across the street and call the motel office. Yeah, this is Detective Morrison with the state police. I lie, deepening my voice. We're investigating some drug activity in your area. You had a couple check into room 127 last night around 10 p.m. We're trying to identify them. The desk clerk is eager to help law enforcement. He describes Tyler perfectly and confirms they've been regular customers for about 3 months, always paying cash, always the same room. 3 months. While I've been working 12-hour days to pay for our mortgage, our cars, our life, Elise has been playing house with Tyler every Tuesday and Thursday night. I drive home slowly, taking the long way through downtown. This town has been my whole life. I was born here, went to school here, learned my trade here. I know every street, every building, every family. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else's business, which means by now half the town probably knows about Elise's affair, which means half the town has been watching me play the fool. When I get home, Elise's car isn't in the driveway. Another late night at the office, no doubt. I let myself into our house, my house, since I'm the one who's been paying for it, and pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon. The house feels different now that I know the truth. The family photos on the mantle look like evidence of a crime. The furniture we picked out together feels like props in a play I never auditioned for. Even the walls seem to be mocking me with their silence. I walk through each room, seeing it with new eyes. The bedroom where she lies to me every night. The bathroom where she washes off the scent of another man. The kitchen where she pretends to care about my day while planning my destruction. In her dresser drawer, hidden beneath her underwear, I find a prepaid phone I've never seen before. The text history is a novel of betrayal. Months of messages between her and Tyler, planning their meetings, sharing intimate photos, discussing their future together. And scattered throughout, casual cruelties about me. Jack fixed the leaky faucet today. So proud of himself. If only he knew how much I need fixing elsewhere. Can't wait until we don't have to sneak around anymore. 2 more months and I'll be free of Mr. Fix-It forever. He actually thinks I'm at book club tonight. God, he's pathetic. I photograph every message, every photo, every piece of evidence. Then I put the phone back exactly where I found it. When Elise comes home at 1 a.m., I'm waiting in the living room with a glass of bourbon and a smile. How was work? I ask. Exhausting. Tyler really pushed us hard tonight. I bet he did. Tyler sounds like a real slave driver. She kicks off her heels and heads for the stairs. I'm going to shower and go to bed. Elise? She pauses, 1 foot on the bottom step. I love you, I say. For just a moment, her mask slips. I see something that might be guilt or regret, or maybe just annoyance that I'm making this complicated. I love you too, she lies. After she goes upstairs, I sit in the dark and plan. They want to play games? Fine. But they're about to learn that the carpenter knows how to build more than just cabinets. He knows how to build traps. The next morning, I wake up with purpose for the first time in months. Elise is already gone. Another early meeting, she claimed, leaving behind only the faint scent of her perfume and a coffee mug in the sink. I shower, dress, and head to my workshop with the focused energy of a man who finally knows what he's building. My shop sits behind the house, a converted garage where I've spent the last decade crafting custom furniture and fixing other people's broken things. It's my sanctuary, filled with tools that never lie and wood that doesn't pretend to be something it's not. Today, it's going to become my war room. I start by making a list. Not the usual list of lumber dimensions and hardware specifications, but a catalog of everything I know about Tyler Brinks and my wife's betrayal. Names, dates, locations, patterns. The methodical approach I use for complex builds applied to the demolition of my marriage. My first call is to Frankie Delacroix, a kid in his early 20s who helps me with bigger jobs. Frankie's got the kind of technical skills that make up for his complete lack of common sense, and more importantly, he's got flexible morals when it comes to helping his friends. Jack, what's the job today? Please tell me it involves power tools. Different kind of job, Frankie. I need some information gathered. Discreetly. Ooh, like detective work? I'm in. What are we investigating? My wife's boyfriend, guy named Tyler Brinks, works for Consolidated Insurance. I need to know everything about him, where he lives, what he drives, where he goes, who he talks to. Frankie's quiet for a moment. Shit, Jack. I'm sorry, man. Don't be sorry. Be thorough. You got it. Give me 24 hours. Next, I call my lawyer. Not the guy who handled our house purchase, but Tom Brennan, a divorce attorney I've known since high school. Tom's got a reputation for being ruthless when he needs to be, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Jack Callahan. Been a while. Please tell me you're calling about a business matter. Wish I was, Tom. I need to know my options. Hypothetically speaking, what happens when a spouse is planning to hide assets before filing for divorce? Hypothetically, that spouse would be in deep shit if the other party could prove it. We're talking fraud, contempt of court, potentially criminal charges depending on how much money we're discussing. What kind of proof would you need? Bank records, communications, evidence of hidden accounts or transferred assets. Why? You got proof of something? I might. What I definitely have is evidence of adultery and planning to defraud me in divorce proceedings. Tom's voice sharpens with interest. How solid is this evidence? Rock solid. Video, audio recordings, text messages, the works. Jesus, Jack. Bring me everything you've got. If what you're saying is true, we might be able to flip this whole thing around on them. I spend the rest of the morning working on a kitchen renovation for Mrs. Patterson, an elderly widow who always pays in cash and makes the best coffee in town. It's good to work with my hands, to focus on something clean and straightforward while my mind processes the complexity of what I'm planning. Around noon, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is Tyler. We need to talk. Meet me at Murphy's at 7 p.m. Come alone. I stare at the message for a long moment, then show it to Mrs. Patterson. Looks like someone's trying to intimidate you, dear, she says, reading over my shoulder. You be careful. Don't worry, Mrs. P. I don't intimidate easily. But I'm curious. How did Tyler get my number? What does he think he's going to accomplish by meeting me face to face? Either he's stupider than I thought, or he's planning something. I text back. See you there. At 6:30, I'm sitting in my truck outside Murphy's Tavern, watching Tyler pace back and forth near the entrance. He's exactly what I expected. Tall, dark-haired, wearing a suit that probably costs more than I make in a month. He keeps checking his phone and looking around nervously, which tells me this meeting wasn't his idea. I walk in at exactly 7 p.m. Tyler spots me immediately and waves me over to a corner booth. Up close, he's younger than I expected, maybe early 30s, with the kind of smooth confidence that comes from never being punched in the face. Jack, right? Thanks for coming. Tyler, heard a lot about you. His smile falters slightly. Yeah, about that. Look, I think there might be some misunderstandings here. I sit down across from him, noting how he's positioned himself with his back to the wall. What kind of misunderstandings? Elise and I work together. We're friends. Good friends. But I think maybe some people might have gotten the wrong impression about our relationship. What people? Your friend Gaz, for one. He's been asking questions around town, making insinuations. It's starting to affect Elise's reputation at work. I lean back in my seat, studying him. So, you're worried about Elise's reputation. I'm worried about both of us. Look, Jack, I know this is awkward, but I need you to call off your friend. The gossip needs to stop. What gossip would that be? Tyler's jaw tightens. You know what I'm talking about. Pretend I don't. He leans forward, lowering his voice. People are saying Elise and I are having an affair. It's not true, and it's damaging both our careers. I nod thoughtfully. That would be terrible. If it were true, I mean. It's not true. Of course not. Just like it's not true that you've been meeting her at the Riverside Motel every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 3 months. Just like it's not true that you've been planning to help her hide assets before she divorces me. Just like it's not true that you've been calling me pathetic behind my back while screwing my wife. Tyler goes very still. I don't know what you think you know. I know everything, Tyler. Every text message, every meeting, every lie you've told, and every plan you've made. The question is, what are you going to do about it? He stares at me for a long moment. Then his expression hardens. You're making a mistake, Jack. A big one. Am I? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're the one who made the mistake. You picked the wrong man's wife to screw around with. Tyler stands up abruptly. This conversation is over. No, Tyler. Your conversation with my wife is over. Your job is over. Your comfortable little life is over. You just don't know it yet. He storms out without another word, leaving me alone with my beer and a growing sense of satisfaction. Round 1 to the carpenter. My phone rings as I'm driving home. It's Elise, and she sounds furious. What the hell did you say to Tyler? Hello to you too, honey. How was your day? Don't play games with me, Jack. Tyler called me upset. He said you threatened him. I didn't threaten anyone. We just had a friendly conversation about boundaries and respect. You had no right. I had every right. He's screwing my wife. That gives me all kinds of rights. Silence. Then, I don't know what you think you know, but you're wrong. Am I? Then come home, Elise, right now. Come home and we'll talk about how wrong I am. I can't. I'm working late. Of course you are. Give Tyler my regards. I hang up and drive home through the dark streets of my hometown, past the places where I learned to be a man, where I thought I'd found love, where I built a life that turned out to be a lie. But lies can be demolished, just like any other structure, and I'm very good at demolition. The call comes at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, waking me from the first decent sleep I've had in weeks. It's Dave Morrison, my best friend since childhood and the best man at my wedding. Jack, we need to talk. Something in his tone makes me instantly alert. Dave's a laid-back guy, the kind who laughs off problems and finds the silver lining in everything. This voice belongs to a stranger. What's up, Dave? Not over the phone. Meet me at Rosie's Diner in an hour. He hangs up before I can respond, leaving me staring at the ceiling and wondering what fresh hell is about to unfold. Elise's side of the bed is empty. She claimed she was staying at her sister's place to think things through. More likely she's at Tyler's apartment, but I've got bigger problems to worry about now. Rosie's Diner sits on the edge of town, the kind of place where truckers and early shift workers fuel up on coffee and gossip. Dave's already there when I arrive, sitting in a back booth with two other guys I recognize, Mike Hendricks and Paul Novak, both friends from our old crew. The three of them look like a tribunal, and I'm apparently the defendant. Gentlemen, I say, sliding into the booth across from them. This feels ominous. Dave doesn't smile. Jack, what the hell are you doing? Having breakfast with my friends, apparently, though the jury's still out on that last part. Mike leans forward. Cut the shit, Jack. We know what you're up to. Enlighten me. Paul speaks up, his voice tight with anger. Tyler Brinks is my brother-in-law, my wife's little brother, and according to him, you've been stalking him and Elise, making threats, trying to destroy his career over some paranoid delusion that they're having an affair. The pieces click into place. Paul's wife is Sarah Brinks, which makes Tyler her brother, which means my friends have been recruited to Tyler's side of this war. Paranoid delusion? I keep my voice level. That's what he called it? That's what it is, Dave says. Jack, I've known you for 25 years. You're a good guy, but you've always been jealous, always suspicious. Remember high school? You accused 3 different guys of trying to steal your girlfriend. And I was right about 2 of them. This isn't high school, Mike snaps. This is real life, with real consequences. Tyler's talking about getting a restraining order. He's talking about pressing charges for harassment. I look at each of them in turn. 3 men I've known most of my life, who've been to my house for barbecues, who helped me move furniture, who stood beside me at my wedding. Now they're sitting across from me like I'm some kind of criminal. Did any of you bother to ask for my side of the story? We're asking now, Dave says. Too late. You already made up your minds. I stand up. But since you're here, let me ask you something. Paul, when's the last time you talked to your brother-in-law about his work schedule? Specifically, his Tuesday and Thursday evening meetings. Paul's eyes narrow. What's that supposed to mean? Ask him. Ask him about the Riverside Motel. Ask him about the prepaid phone he bought your sister-in-law. Ask him about their plans for my assets when the divorce goes through. You're delusional, Mike says. I pull out my phone and play 30 seconds of the recording Gaz made. Just enough to let them hear Tyler's voice bragging about screwing me over financially. The booth goes very quiet. "That's illegal recording," Dave says finally. "You can't use that. Maybe not in court, but I can sure as hell use it to show my friends what kind of man they're defending." Paul's face has gone pale. That doesn't prove anything. It proves your brother-in-law is a lying piece of shit who's been screwing my wife and planning to rob me blind. But hey, I'm sure he's got a perfectly innocent explanation. I drop a $5 bill on the table for coffee I didn't order. Here's what's going to happen, gentlemen. I'm going to destroy Tyler Brinks. Legally, thoroughly, and very publicly. When I'm done, he'll be unemployed, broke, and toxic to every woman in 3 counties. And you 3? You picked the wrong side in this fight. "Jack, wait," Dave starts. "No, we're done here. 25 years of friendship, and you couldn't give me the benefit of the doubt for 5 minutes. You'd rather believe a stranger's lies than trust your oldest friend." I walk out of the diner and don't look back, even when Dave calls my name. In the parking lot, I sit in my truck for a moment, letting the anger wash over me. It's not just about Elise anymore. It's about respect, about loyalty, about the fact that everyone in my life seems to think I'm some kind of fool who deserves whatever happens to him. They're about to learn how wrong they are. My phone rings as I'm driving home. It's Frankie, and he sounds excited. "Jack, you're going to love this. I've got everything you wanted on Tyler Brinks, plus some bonus material you're definitely going to want to see. Meet me at the shop in 20 minutes. Frankie's waiting for me with his laptop and a grin that suggests he's enjoyed every minute of his detective work. Okay, so Tyler Brinks, age 34, lives in Riverside Apartments, Unit 4B. Drives a 2019 BMW 3 Series, leased through his company. Works as a regional sales manager for Consolidated Insurance, makes about $80,000 a year. So far, nothing I couldn't have found on LinkedIn. But here's where it gets interesting. Frankie clicks through several screens. Tyler's got a pattern. This isn't his first workplace affair. At his last job in Portland, he was sleeping with a married coworker named Jennifer Walsh. Her husband found out, made a big stink. Tyler got transferred here to avoid the scandal. How'd you find that out? Jennifer Walsh's divorce records are public. She specifically named Tyler as the reason for the breakdown of her marriage. But here's the kicker. Tyler testified in the divorce proceedings that the affair was Jennifer's idea, that she seduced him, that he was just an innocent victim of a predatory older woman. I stare at the screen, reading the court documents. Son of a bitch. It gets better. I did some digging into his finances. Tyler's got serious money problems. Credit card debt, student loans, car payments he can barely afford. He's been living way beyond his means, trying to maintain this successful bachelor image, which means he needs Elise's money. Exactly. And check this out. Frankie pulls up another document. 3 weeks ago, Tyler applied for a joint bank account with someone listed as E. Callahan. The application was denied because Elise doesn't have the authority to open joint accounts without her husband's consent. The pieces of their plan become clearer. Tyler needs money. Elise wants out of our marriage, so they're working together to make sure she gets as much as possible in the divorce. There's one more thing, Frankie says. I may have accidentally hacked into Tyler's email account. Accidentally? His password was BMW 2019. The guy's not exactly a criminal mastermind. Frankie grins. Anyway, you need to see these emails between him and Elise. They're not just planning to screw you in the divorce. They're planning to frame you. He shows me a series of emails discussing how to make me look like an abusive husband. They've been documenting fake incidents, taking photos of bruises Elise gave herself, building a case that will paint me as a dangerous man who needs to be kept away from his assets. They're going to claim you hit her, Frankie explains. Elise has been setting up situations where she can claim you were violent. The late nights, the confrontations, all of it designed to make you look unstable. I lean back in my chair, processing the magnitude of their betrayal. It's not just adultery. It's a coordinated campaign to destroy my life and steal everything I've worked for. Frankie, I need you to make copies of everything. Every email, every document, every piece of evidence we've found. Already done. What's the plan? I look around my workshop, at the tools and projects that represent 20 years of honest work, and make a decision that will change everything. We're going to war.